Welcome to Think Big with Dan and Qasim. Join hosts Dan Melnick and Qasim Masood as they explore big ideas, limitless possibilities, and engage with visionaries, entrepreneurs, and thought leaders who dare to dream big, get inspired, motivated, and find practical tips for personal growth. Think big, dream bigger, and ignite your potential.
All right, welcome to Think Big with Dan and Qasim, and our guest today is Vishal. So Vishal, if you want to go ahead and introduce yourself, tell us where you live and what you do for a living.
Dan Qasim. So this is Vishal Chopra. I'm a CEO and founder of UMWELT.AI. I live in India, Delhi right now.
Awesome. So can you just tell me more about your company, really just what you do and how you got the idea for it?
So UMWELT.AI, employee experience management and people analytics company. We help the organizations listen to, analyze, and act on employee experience in real. So we are a human side of human resources, how I represent UMWELT.AI. So myself, I have over 20 years of experience in HR. I headed HR for around 11 years with large enterprises. My last stint was with Home Credit, where I was head of HR for India with around 12,000 employees. So why UMWELT.AI? I think it's all started with a pain of myself, what I felt over the period of time. When I go back, it has been last 2013 when I left my corporate job. It's a long time back, yes. But primarily what triggered it was that with Home Credit itself, if I would tell my journey, I joined the company when it was 900 employees. And within 2 years, we grew to 12,000 employees. Now, Home Credit is a NBFC, and it was the fastest growth rate in India in history of NBFC. So while we were able to grow this fast, one of the major challenges I started facing was that I was getting more and more away from my employees, because my employees were across more than 4,000 what we call as point of sales. So it was next to impossible for me to interact with those employees, understand that how their experiences have been, understand that what their needs are, understand that what could be done better at an organization level to improve their productivity and make them more successful at work. Sitting in the boardrooms, being dependent on managers, HR partners, to feed me with the data, to take the decisions, was one of the challenges which I pretty much was not happy with, right? Because listening to employees came always, I've been always a people person. So for me, it was very important to actually go and speak to the people and understand that what exactly is going on. So that is where exactly this whole idea came off. I left my corporate journey, got into consulting, started working with multiple HR tech companies to identify that why this gap is. Because while in Home Credit, I started looking out for technology, which would help me connect with these employees, hear them out, give me real-time analytics. But what I found was only those annual feedback surveys, which is you conduct once in a year, they gives you a problem, you do some projects, and you have to wait another year and year to get to see that if there has been any improvement which has been done through your initiative. So that is when exactly I decided that I will move on. And with my experience, I can help those HR tech companies build the products which would be solving the real world problems of what I was facing on the other. So next 2 years, I was entirely into consulting, got to work with 7, 8 HR tech companies, also initiated new age HRIS system with one of the companies. And again, one of the learnings during working with these HR tech companies was that primarily these all HR tech companies were coming with two kind of background. Either they were a payroll company, they all started as a payroll company and kept on developing the modules for learning and development, performance management, so on and so forth. But the mindset was all transactional. They still did not understand the consulting or human side of human. And the second set of companies were which were coming up with emerging technologies, new age founders, I will say techies, who understood tech pretty well, but they've never been a part of the corporate themselves. So again, there was a gap in terms of understanding the problem. That is how exactly UMWELT.AI came into existence, because during these 2 years, I also learned tech heavily, and I decided that I will go inside and I will build it myself.
Makes sense. So can you just tell our audience about who exactly, I guess, customer profiles of your current customers today and how exactly they benefit from the product?
Sure. So we are currently focusing on the companies, 1,000 employees and more, industry agnostic. Because what I believe is, again, when you talk about people experience or employee experience, it stays the same, whatever industry you are in. Yes, there could be differences in terms of their needs when it comes to more about job roles. So a typical person from IT background versus corporate versus sales would have different needs, but industry wise, it is industry agnostic. So 1,000 employees or more, that is what we are focusing on, while the customers we are working with right now are 3,000. And so how they're benefiting is that we are helping them automate the conversations with their employees centrally throughout their journey. So we call it as four kind of triggers basis which you can interact with the employees. You can interact with the employees basis their journey, which could be as simple as they complete 7 days in an organization, 30 days, 60 days, 90 days, and so forth. So you can actually configure these journeys at what junctures of their life cycle you want to interact with them. Or you can have an interaction with them on periodical basis, which could be as simple as weekly, monthly, quarterly, biannual, annual. Or you can launch an interaction at any important juncture, which could be, for example, post your product meet, you want to check back the experience of people, post performance appraisal, you want to actually check back the experience. So you can launch these interactions at any time. And lastly, we have also automated the exit interviews. So these are four kind of triggers basis which we interact with the people. So now, and these all interactions are highly personalized as per the user group system. So they're not to fill in those reply to those 50 form-based questions. It is through a normal consulting chatbot, which is all configured, and these are all personalized. So which means that I have to actually ask about 7 or 8 things which are actually important to them at that particular. Due to which the first thing happens is that our response rates are more than 80%. So employees really love having these interactions, and that too also is 100% automation. No physical niggles, somebody going and telling them fill the surveys. So they are happy to interact. Two, this has led to, because we are now reflecting upon action. So we're not only doing analytics, but we are actually, what do you say, generating the alerts to the HR partners for taking the real-time action, which also means that we are proactively able to help the companies retain the talent. So the companies we're working with, we have successfully helped them in increasing their retention rates, early retention, which is below 180 days, by 20 to 50%, and overall attrition rate has dropped by over 20%. Not to mention, their engagement levels have improved from 10% to 30%. Their net promoter scores have improved again by 5% to 15, 5 to 15 points. And there is an overall improvement in the sentiments across the country.
Makes sense. So I feel like, what you're doing is that there's also a level of information, because I feel like many companies don't understand that they have this problem. So what would you say are some of the biggest challenges? I mean, is that some of it? I mean, like, informing people, is it like, like other things like, currently in your business?
Yeah. See, one thing I think everybody understands, yes, you are right in a way, that many people are not looking forward to solve it. They know that there is a challenge, but how to solve it? Do they want to solve it? It's still a challenge. But from my side, I keep on saying, customers do not interact with your business directly. It is always they are interacting with your employees first. So if you take care of your employees, and they are the ones who are happy people, they are the ones who are engaged, motivated, inspired, and they know that they are taken care of. They are the ones who will always take care of your.
So I guess, like, how are you getting like the word out? How do you tell people that you exist? Like, are you running ads, email marketing? Like, what has been successful for you thus far?
I would say that we are still to be there, still learning. What would be the right kind of messaging which would actually work? So largely, currently, it has been, all of the organic growth has been through our one customer referring another, another, and another.
Right.
So it is the customers are being the spokesperson for us because they have already benefited from it. And one of the things right now is that typically the companies who are actually struggling with high attrition rates, I think that is one problem which we have been able to very specifically crack. So those are the customers who are coming.
So you're saying it's more like large enterprise companies where they really want to ensure employee retention. They want to keep their employees engaged. So using the software to help improve their experience, so that way that, they understand if there's a problem that can be solved straight away.
Yeah. So there is a touch of element of consultancy still involved into it. So we coming from a background of HR, and that is what we again go as a value proposition to our customers as well. It is not only technology. Technology is an enabler, but we work as a partner with our client, understanding their problems, understanding the challenges, and helping them, being there with them to reach out the objectives and finding the adequate solution.
It makes sense. So obviously now 2023 is wrapping up. So for 2024, what are some of your goals in the pipeline? Like even like in terms of revenue, in terms of like where you're at now, where you want to get to for next year?
So I think we are the stage we are at 19 and 20 were definitely the waste in terms of COVID. We were also one of the companies badly hit by it from the growth perspective. 2024, we are seeing a lot of so pipeline is really strong right now. The way I look at it, to 2024, we would be looking at adding at least 60 to 70 enterprises. That is what we are looking at. We are definitely looking at extending partnerships for marketing. Also, we are building up a channel with the consultants with whom we can partner with to provide the solution to their all already clients. And from the product standpoint of view, it is the whole focus is now shifted to building the language capabilities. So we are extensively on artificial intelligence sentiment analysis side. So we have our own proprietary model to understand the sentiment specifically of the employee. So we are looking forward to, we understand that if we are going for a larger market, we will have to build language capabilities. And that is where exactly the whole of the.
So as of right now, are all your customers in India or are they in the US as well? And if they are, like, where are you looking to expand to in the future?
So we are focusing, 2024 is 75% US, 25% India. So the focus is completely shifting towards.
Awesome. So, but do you have US customers right now?
No direct customer. The customers we have, they have the employees there in US as well. So we are already interacting with the people, the employees across 12 countries.
Right. So you're saying that I guess like for next year, you're still kind of figuring out that strategy because what might have worked for marketing or referrals in India would be different here in the States, right?
Correct. So the
Awesome.
whole of the reach out campaign is focused on US right now. We understand the Indian market. Even not doing much on the marketing side, we know that we will be able to hit that about 25% mark still in India. So the whole of the marketing effort, product effort, everything is in US. So we are
For
already
sure.
set up in US. We have set up our company in US. We are raising the funding around in US. So everything is focused on US.
For sure. I mean, and there's definitely a huge problem, that you're solving here, and it's definitely relevant here in the States. I mean, I work at large companies. I see it for sure. So
Yeah. That is what my understanding is because I talk to my peers from the industry. I know the people in US, so it is not that I've never worked in US market. I've been for larger part of my career. I've been in the and I was with our systems for a little. So we had our head office in US always. So I understand the US market.
for sure. But do you like ever look at or consider niching down, or are you still very animate about being industry agnostic, just focused on all large companies?
So see, each segment comes with its own challenge. That is what my understanding is. So right now, I would still keep myself focused there. Yes, from the expansion point of view, it will much make sense if I go for a pie of 200 to 500 and 500 to 1000 as well. But right now, we will still the time we hit 100 number on enterprise side, we will like to keep ourselves focused. Technology point, I think for the smaller enterprises, we have to carve out a different product for them as well.
Makes
So
sense.
yeah, to answer in a simple word, I do not see in 2024 we'll be looking at that market.
Makes sense. So, what would you say is the one biggest piece of advice that you wish you knew before you started this company?
Very difficult. As an entrepreneur journey, I think there are too many of those. Pointing towards only one is extensively difficult. I think I would have known 20 more things about before I started my journey. But one thing, if I have to very specifically say, is so technology from my perspective, because I was coming from HR background, transformed into technology, right? I think probably I knew technology better than what I did 5 years back. So today I can actually write Python myself. That is how extensively I understand tech now. I'm an acting CTO of my company. So yeah, probably that would be the one thing. If I knew about it 5 years back, my journey would have been much more smoother because initial 2 years, 3 years, you keep on working with different developers. They will be coming up and telling you something about technology. You'll be going back reading, doing something, and at times you have to just accept it, even if you know that it is not right, but you have to accept it because those are the people you are. So yeah,
Right.
technology is probably one thing which I would have learned earlier. I studied it 20 years back, never became a programmer, but now I'm back deeply in tech.
Awesome. So if somebody watching this and they wanted to reach out to you, what's the best way to get in contact with you? If you can share like your company website or social media, like best way to get in contact with you.
I'm very active on LinkedIn. That is where I think we also connected. So
Correct.
LinkedIn is the best way. I normally respond within half an hour.
Awesome. Well, Vishal, thank you so much for your time and we're rooting for you.
Thank you very much. Very nice speaking
Thanks.
to you.
Likewise. Thanks. All right. Bye.